Do you love Batman?
Do you love Frasier?
Do you love Seinfeld?
Do you love Dr. Seuss?
Do you love James Bond?
Do you love Captain America?
Oh hell, do you just love everything that's nerd related?
I know I do.
Well, you should come on over to a Nerd's World podcast and listen to us, Justin and Andrew, talk everything that's nerd.
Yeah, every 2 weeks we delve into some random topic that we choose at the end of each episode, and we tell you the whole history of it, or as much as we feel the need to write down, our history of it, and our favorite things about it.
So come on over to a Nerd's World,
wherever you listen to podcasts.
Welcome everyone to Pod and Gore, your one-stop shop for everything horror. Now here's your hosts, Justin and Brandon. Take it away, boys.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Oh, yo, yo.
I hate you so very much.
In song. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pod and Gore. My name is Justin.
My name is Brandon.
For a very musical episode.
And I'm not cutting out the beginning. It's all going to be in there.
Yuck.
Yeah, I don't care. Either. Oh, did I just... My phone knew that I was going to need these notes, and it just pulled it up on its... Thank you, Siri.
That's not creepy and scary at all.
Welcome to Pod and Gore.
We are going to do this episode.
Okay, I'm so done with all that.
You started it.
I did, but
Stupid
it's
ass.
funny when I do it, not fucking look at me like that. Anyways, guys.
End your sentence.
Yeah, I don't have to. I'll look at you and you'll know exactly what I mean.
That I'm better than you.
False.
So this episode is my pick, and I picked for you, Repo, the Genetic
For
Opera.
reasons.
Because I like this movie.
Right.
And you did too.
Well,
you just like to crap on me because you're mean.
No. I told you, before we watched this movie, I am not a musical fan.
I know.
Growing up, there...
was no music in your life.
No, there was a
sad
musical
and
that
dreary.
my grandparents, when we would go and spend time with my grandparents over summer breaks and all that, when we lived here in Washington, they lived in Oregon, we would go and spend the summer with them. Okay. Well, they would never have cable, they would never have TV, they just had a lot of movies. And it would always be like old westerns, there would be some musicals, they had the...
To old people movies.
Yeah, Indian films, I Will Fight No More Forever, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And one of the musicals they had was called Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
Yeah.
I fucking love that movie. That's part of my childhood. There's not a lot of musicals that I will get down with.
Sure.
I will watch that one. I don't mind Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
And I did not mind Repo.
Well, I'm glad it made the list.
It almost makes me want to watch The Devil's Carnival, which is another movie directed by...
Darren Lynn Bousman.
There we go. Nice segue.
Yes, directed by Darren Lynn Bousman. Screenplay by Terrence...
I'm going to say Zdunik.
Mm-hmm. And Darren Smith, based on the
Necromerchant. Based on the Necromerchant Dept. Damn it. What did you do to me, dude? The Necromerchant
carry over from our last episode.
Yeah.
By Terrence Zdunik and Darren Smith, starring Alexa Vega, Paul Sorvino, Anthony Stewart Head, Sarah Brightman, Paris Hilton, Bill Moseley, Ogre, and Terrence Zdunik.
Yeah, which was the Graverobber.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that he did the screenplay. I had no idea that it was based on anything by him previously.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Well, that's why we do this.
But the music was not done by him, which is surprising because he does not all the singing, but he does he's
like the narrator.
Right, and he his vocals. It's really weird. Because he'll sing and he gets the lows and he does well singing. Yeah. But there'll be some times where he'll do something animated wise, when he, like, in one of the songs he does later on, and he pushes that girl down, and then he's like, nothing at all. And it's like, it doesn't sound as singery. Like, it's more expressed than it is sung, I guess you could say, which is also kind of like what Paul Sorvino does in this movie. Like, a lot of it, he'll pop out the pipes, but then a lot of his is more like spoke, which is also pretty rad. Because that dude, in my notes, I put he has his laugh is quite, like, he's got a fucking good evil laugh.
Yeah, he does. He's always been awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. So the music was by Darren Smith, released November 7th, 2008, with a budget of $8.5 million and a box office of 188,000.
That's a lot of backwards.
Yeah. Strike that, reverse it. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
For those who haven't seen it.
Dare Willy Wonka me, dude. Every time you make me mad all day long, you do something and totally redeem yourself. I hate you again.
That's what I'm here for.
But yeah, so, Paul Sorvino, though, father of Mira Sorvino.
I don't know. You started that sentence.
Yeah, she, the actress from Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion.
I know. I just don't know her name. Look it up while I do my episode.
Oh, God.
Plot of this movie, if you have not seen it, by the year 2056, an epidemic of organ failure has devastated the planet. The megacorporation GeneCo provides organ transplants on a payment plan.
Mira Sorvino.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Clients who default on payments are hunted down by Repo men, skilled assassins contracted by GeneCo to repossess organs, usually killing the clients in the process.
By the Repo man. Now, how similar is this movie to Repo Men with Jude Law? Like, I've seen that movie. I know I have. I just don't know how close it is. Because, like, watching this one...
From what I remember of it, and I did not care for it because I liked this one so much, it's more or less the same thing, just not as stylized. It's more like real world. It's
so
like
the thing about
here.
this movie, though, dude, is like there's a lot of stylization in this movie that I really like.
Yeah.
That it'll go looking really fucking cool. Like, they did a good job with the graphic, like the
comic stuff.
Well, the comic stuff, the stuff that you know that's not real, but other times it looked like a stage production at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, it had that Broadway-esque quality where the sets were really good, but it also looked like it was being filmed on, you know, like it would go really clean to really stagey, you know.
Well, and that is kind of the style. So in 1996, Darren Smith had a friend who was going through bankruptcy and his possessions were going into foreclosure. Inspired by this, Smith came up with the idea of a future where not only one's property, but also their body parts could be repossessed. Smith and Terrence Zudnik collaborated to create the first version of Repo, titled The Necromerchant's Debt, which told the story of a grave robber in debt to a repo organ man.
That's fucking cool.
I know. It was performed at the John Raitt Theater in 2002 after being a success. Man, I'm turning into you. Smith and Zudnik expanded on the universe to create all of the storylines that became Repo the Genetic Opera. So it was a stage play.
Well, it was, and I knew that watching it. And then, like, while I was watching it, I was looking into stuff. I was like, so what else has this person been in? You know, like Blind Meg. That was her debut role. Like, she had never been in anything before.
I really liked her.
Yeah, she did great.
That scene, when you texted me that you were watching it, that scene is like one of my favorites of her singing in the house. Yeah, and
the reason why I sent you that picture is because I don't remember what you said, but I took it as a jab, like you didn't think I was actually watching the movie or something. Like, I'm like, I'm doing it, I promise.
And I was very proud of you, Brandon.
Well, thank you.
Once Repo was picked up by Lionsgate, principal photography began September 2007 in Canada.
Oh, Canada.
The film was scheduled to be released on April 25th, 2008, but was pushed back to November 7th. I don't know why. Ex-Japan leader Yoshiki produced the soundtrack, along with composing one extra track for the film. He also served as the music director and one of the film's executive producers. In regards to a sequel, in a video posted on YouTube, it was revealed that they, quote, no longer control the answer to the question of future sequels, since they no longer have ownership of the franchise, thus driving Boseman and Zudnik to make The Devil's Carnival, which I have not seen.
I haven't either, but when I posted on the Facebook page that I was going to watch this movie, and like I've mentioned before that I'll stream them through Rabbit, but Rabbit's not a thing anymore.
Oh, really?
And it's now called Cast, which I think there's like you download an application for your computer. I watched. I put it on Facebook and Twitter, but I forgot to put the link on YouTube. Oh, not YouTube. Sorry, I forgot to put the link on the Facebook page.
I saw that.
But even still, like, I didn't even stream the whole movie on Cast. Like, nobody showed up, and I'm like, I'm done fucking with this double screen shit. I'm just gonna take notes now. And so, like, yeah. By the way, I generally try to broadcast these movies in group form, so that way, if people want to hang out, we can there's chat rooms, so we can watch the movie, we can bullshit about the movie.
Yeah,
just generally trying to like reach out and form community style interactions, like.
So if you are part of the social media scene and you do like us on Facebook and follow our random nonsense that we post on there, it's usually pretty good stuff.
It's usually stuff I steal from other people, but
sure,
I'm a meme thief.
Brandon will post up if he's going to do one of these stream movie
Generally,
things.
I don't know until last minute, which is my bad.
Sure.
But
pay attention to the pages. You know,
it's just, it's really hard because, like, if but keep an eye out. Like, my family life makes it difficult. Like, I was going to do Chainsaw the day before, but as soon as I started to, I had Shudder loaded up, I had Cast loaded up, and I was getting ready to do it. My wife walks by and she's like, "Hey, your daughter wants to go swimming," as she's getting ready to go to derby practice. I'm like, fuck, man. Like, I have to watch this movie. And she's like, "Your daughter's more important." I'm like, "I know that, but God damn it, you know that.
I gotta watch a movie.
I gotta watch this movie. Man.
Cheese and rice."
But no, just keep an eye out. If that's something that interests you, I'll try to give notice, or at least an hour before I'll start it.
Yeah.
So.
Some fun facts before we get into the thing. In the earliest performances, Rotti Largo was not the father of Luigi, Pavi, and Amber. Instead, he was a younger brother to Luigi and Pavi, while Amber was Luigi's daughter. Yeah, indeed.
Okay.
Repo was adapted into a 10-minute short film directed and financed by Darren Lynn Bousman to pitch the idea to film studios. The film starred Shawnee Smith,
of Saw fame, Becker, all those.
Yeah, but since Bousman did Saw, big kudos for the Shawnee.
Did he edit, produce, or because I was going through the IMDb's and there's no name that I recognize. Like, I was like, when you talked about this, I was expecting to see like Elite 1L or like a James Wan or somebody of like note attached, and I'm like, I didn't know what Darren Lynn Bousman's connection to the movie was.
I believe he's a producer.
Okay.
I'd have to look. Why don't you look?
I'm already on it, dude. Just fucking finish their sentence there.
Then shut up and stop interrupting me. So Shawnee Smith played Amber Sweet, then named Heather Sweet. Michael Rooker was the Repo Man.
Which would have been kind of cool. I mean, this guy did a good job, but that still would have been fun.
Well, I loved his voice. We'll get into that later. Kristen Fairley was Shiloh, and Terrence Zudnik was the Graverobber, and Jay LaRose was Pavi.
Okay.
I don't know most of those names, but...
Okay, so Darren Lynn Bousman was a producer for Saw 2. It was not the original Saw.
I could have... You would think I would know since we just did that episode.
No, we did Saw 1.
I know that fucker.
Oh, he was attached to Tales of Halloween as well. Okay, so yeah. But see, the funny thing is, too, though, is like having Shawnee Smith and Michael Rooker. Like, those are some names. I don't know who Kristen Fairley is. But...
I don't either. But yeah, I mean, it's almost like you could have just made that the movie. Not that I have a problem with anybody in this.
Right, but still.
But even Paris Hilton, I must say, this was at the time when she was in a lot of horror movies.
Yeah, I remember seeing that was one of the things, like, they didn't want to cast her because of, like, the negative connotations that would have came with casting her. But they, like, she came in and they, like, one of the things I saw was, like, her attire that she wore. And a lot of the stuff she wore in the movie was her own clothing.
Oh,
like
really?
she had, like, a lot of stuff that she wore in that movie she already owned.
That
And
doesn't
so-
surprise me as
No,
much as
not
it
at
probably
all.
should.
Well, and see, even with her being in House of Wax, like, my favorite part of that movie is when she gets speared through the head.
Sure.
But, like, and I said that straight face too.
I know.
Like I know you're watching me, and I'm just kind of getting whimsy over here. I'm just like, when
That
she,
was such a lovely part of that movie.
Right, but, like,
well, and even
even-
in Final Destination 3 when she dies in the
I
suntanning
forgot
bed.
that she was in that, but, like, she drives me, like, crazy
Yeah.
in real life. Like, it's
Right.
just like, shut up. But like, she wasn't bad in this movie.
No.
I know that she put out, like, an album, like, she does sing, whether or not it's good,
I don't know.
but, like,
She's good in this.
she didn't do bad. Like, some of the stuff in there that she did, I was like, okay, shut up. But then, like, when
But that's
she was
also
doing
part of her character, too, which
Right.
I think really helps.
right in the Graverobber song,
Yeah.
when she does, like, the slow kind of, I don't want to say sexy, but that tone that she used.
Graverobber.
Yeah, like, she doesn't sound bad doing that. So it's like, it sounds really weird because even though I don't care for her, like, yeah, she wasn't, like, the worst.
No.
And even in House of Wax, which actually is not a bad movie, like, she wasn't bad in that either. And I guess it's like, if she doesn't play, like, a typecast version of herself in a movie,
Yeah.
it,
She actually has the ability to do well.
something, yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big comic book guy, so I loved all the comic paneling. I don't know.
I did too. Like, that was one of the first things watching that I was like, okay, fuck yeah, dude. That was super cool.
Yeah, and they give massive dumps of exposition as to what's going on, and they do it like twice, which is one of my only complaints about this. And
What?
I mean,
The comic thing?
no, the exposition. The first time they do it, I totally get it, because they have to set up this giant world of wacky nonsense, but then the Graverobber does it again, like right after that.
Right.
And
I'm
it's like,
sorry. I was
okay,
going. I'm listening to you. I was
I
looking
know.
because I'm like, where's my Graverobber notes?
I don't know where any of your things are. I know where
Because
mine
I have my
is.
Texas Chainsaw notes. I don't know. Go ahead and keep talking.
So the Graverobber's showing off. It's showing the first kill by the Repo Man, and he's giving a second account of what we just heard,
Right. Oh, there it is.
kind of in song form.
Right. That was the thing I wrote too. Is that I really did like that the comic panels like that. Yeah, it kind of put it over the top, and with them doing that frequently throughout the movie, I'm like, that's really
Yeah, I mean, it was like, even if it was just the one time, I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool way to do that. But then they follow it up with these kind of side stories for the main characters to kind of show how they're all connected, and they
Right.
continue on with that comic theme, which is really cool.
right. And so what I'm going to do is I'm not going to have your notes pulled up.
Okay.
So when you go off of yours, if you get too far ahead of where I'm at, I'll just kind of interject. But like, yeah, so I don't have a lot of notes for this because I knew that you did, but I was also just trying to, take in the movie.
Yeah.
So we're getting to the initial Graverobber scene where they show the girl, right?
Finish your sentence.
Well, no, I'm looking at you
we're-
to kind of,
Yeah,
because he's
we're-
doing his thing.
Yeah, the Graverobber is doing his explaining what the premise of the story is right after we had just seen it in the comic thing.
Right.
And Repo's doing his first kill, which I'm trying to remember what it was. But, obviously he's repossessing an organ from someone.
Right.
And then it sort of goes on to explain, and we see the super CG stylized city.
Which I thought was really cool looking. Like,
was kinda
it's kind of
Sin
Sin
City.
City-esque.
Yeah, that's-
Yeah, we're on the same wavelength with that. Don't do that
Wave
again.
race.
Now, is Sin City a movie that we could ever cover? Because, I mean, it's not horror, but it is gory-ish.
unless someone tells us no, we can do whatever we want.
Amen to that.
We can do Bambi because the deer dies. It's all relative. It's fine.
It's funny they say that because I just saw
Watched
that.
Bambi?
No, I just saw that video pop up again where it showed The Rock as Bambi.
I've not seen that.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a quick skit where it shows The Rock, where like there's a hunter standing in the woods who's hanging up. I think he's hanging up a sign, and then like this Trans Am pulls up and gets out, and it's, pretty huge rock, but like he
More
gets
of a
out.
pebble.
I hate you. He gets out of the car and he's kind of dressed in all brown, hunter-y-esque, but then he's got like this big muscle shirt on and he's wearing like a vest, and then he's got deer ears and he's got the nose painted black, and he's talking about it's like, I'm Bambi. And then they basically play it out like it's an action movie where then he's like talking about how his mother was taken from him, and he's like leaned over his mom's tombstone and shit like that. And it's like
cool.
a story about revenge and shit. I'm like, all right.
I'd totally watch that movie.
Yeah, I probably would too.
So then we find out that Rhodey is dying and he has to pass on the company to his kids. And then we get our introduction to Shiloh. And I don't know, it's I like the world that this movie builds and the story of it all. It's all interconnected, and you find out later how, Rhodey was in love with... Roti was in love with Nathan's wife, whose name I have down here somewhere.
Yeah, something Wallace.
Marcellus?
Marnie Wallace.
Marcellus Wallace?
Marcellus Wallace, what? It was Marnie.
Yeah, Marnie. And... yeah, I mean, it creates this really strange, creepy dynamic for the whole movie. So then we find out that Shiloh is sick because she goes into the graveyard to basically escape her house.
Right.
And passes out while talking with the Graverobber. Right,
and like a lot of my notes are more initial reactions. Like the first time you see the Graverobber, I wrote down Low Rent Vampire, which is kind of funny because Rent is also a musical.
Wordplay.
But like at first I'm like, he's the only one that's really pale. Like it's almost like his face is painted white.
Yeah.
But it's like you don't know why.
Because no one else is like that.
No one else is like that. I don't know if it's like to set him apart or what, but it's
well, the thing is, I mean, this is...
and with the long hair and all that kind of stuff.
What they essentially establish in the opening, which we didn't really talk about, is that with surgeries becoming so commonplace... Surgery. Being so commonplace because everyone needs it just to live.
Right.
It also becomes this fashion statement, and everybody's just getting random ass surgeries just cuz. Right. And they become addicted to them. So, I mean, in theory...
addicted to the knife?
Indeed. Addicted to the knife.
God. What have you done to me again?
Gonna have surgery.
It helps with the agony. Oh...
and a little tiny vial that goes into the gun.
Like a battery. Oh, we're having fun. We are laughing. You fucking... I hate you for this.
See, I bring joy into your life.
And I bring more into yours because I'm funnier.
Sure,
so
why not?
That's the thing I never got, like, watching it, was like why he was so... visually different from everybody else.
I think my point to that was that could be something he did to himself, like a pigment change thing, because he's a grave robber.
Possibly.
And
and part of me thought, I was like, well, maybe it's because he's a grave robber, but it's like it's never daytime.
Yeah.
You never see sunlight.
Shiloh's kind of pale.
She is pale, but he's like
white,
painted white. Yeah. Very mimey, without the excess makeup, like black and shit.
Sure.
I did write. This is before I got into the movie. I was like, I think this could be rad if there weren't songs. and at this point, my dumbest moment was breaking into song, which is a musical.
Yeah,
I get it, but
it's
still. That's why I hate musicals, because nobody just busts into song and don't do it.
Well, I will say, skipping ahead, my dumbest moment
No,
is...
don't even. I don't even want to. Don't even
you
tell
don't
me.
want to know?
We'll just wait
You
till we
don't
get
know?
there. Because that's not my dumbest moment.
Oh, fair
but
enough.
I changed it because I didn't want it to be that. I wanted like
You don't want it to be the point of the movie?
Yeah, and
Fair
I
enough.
said, like I know I shit on musicals. I don't like them.
Mm-hmm.
Like this movie wasn't horrible. Like I would probably watch it again.
You should.
I mean, you're gonna give me so much hell for this. I wasn't even gonna tell you. You let me
this'll be
borrow.
good.
You let me borrow it, right?
I did.
I left it at my desk at work.
Uh-huh.
I had to fucking rent it off of Voodoo.
God, you're dumb.
I paid $4 to rent it. Part of me almost wanted to spend $8 just to buy it. And I didn't. I didn't. But now thinking back, $8 wouldn't have been bad to buy it because it's like I own Rocky Horror. That's another musical.
See, I feel like your mind says you hate musicals.
It's like, but your body, your body is telling you yes.
Yeah.
I know when I really get Justin, when he fucking leans back and his face is bright fucking red. He can barely contain himself. Goose fraba. But
Shyla passed out at the graveyard.
yes, but I mean, back to what I was talking about with, like, you're right. So I hate musicals,
But you don't.
but I do. Like, I'm not just gonna go and watch a musical.
Yeah.
Like, you notice, like, this, Rocky Horror, Sweeney Todd, they all have that murdery, horror-y aspect to them.
Well, and I don't
It's
go
not
out
like I'm
and-
going out. I won't watch High School Musical. I won't watch any of these other. I'm gonna break into song because
of reasons.
I'm gonna go play basketball or something. Like,
What do you have against basketball?
I have nothing against basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a musical guy.
You just don't have that
theory.
aversion. I do have a mental block about it, though.
You do, and it's unnecessary because you do like musicals. You just don't like all musicals. And I think you're kind of in the same boat as me because I think the only true musicals that I really like that aren't genre-y is Rigoletto, and I guess you could say Rock of Ages.
I like Rock of Ages because I like the music that's in Rock of Ages, but
There
I
you go.
don't like... My wife loves Rock of Ages. Like,
Yeah, it's
we
good.
have it. But at the same time, you know what I think it is about musicals that really bug me is how over the top they are when they perform the music.
Yeah.
Which, it's very stagey.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. But, like, Rock of Ages, like... I listen to classic rock. I listen to 80s rock. Like, I dig it. Like, I guess Rock of Ages would be the one musical that's not horror-y.
Yeah, I mean, what I like about, not to go off on a musical rant, but what I like about that one is that it just sort of flows. It doesn't feel like they're stopping everything to just start singing. It's just kind of, there's a flow to it.
They're not shoehorning it in.
Yeah.
It's not there for the sake of being there.
Right.
I get it.
And
I guess
I
I am a little tougher on musicals than I need to be.
Yes.
I'm not saying I hate musicals for the sake of saying I hate musicals because it's like, ooh, it's a musical, guys. I'm a tough guy. I don't like. It's not anything like that. It's just there's a cheesy aspect to things that sometimes, like, I'm a cheesy dude, but some cheesy things are like shit cheesy things that just make me mad. I'm like,
I'm with you.
yeah, you're a hack cheesy thing.
Whoa, that was really loud.
I got upset. Let me see where we're at timestamp if I have to soften that.
I would. Yeah, but I am with you just on different sides of things. Like, I mean, there's horror movies that, I mean, we just did one that it's so dumb that I just go, I can't stand how stupid this is.
Oh, you and fucking Maximum
I wasn't
Overdrive.
even going to say it. We're moving past it, okay? I'm making a point. Let's move on.
I hate
There
it
are
when you
things-
fucking do not put your hand
there
on
are
my back and push me
things-
through the door. If I want to dwell on it, I will. That's my... Don't wave your fingers at me. What are you doing? If I want to fucking dwell on something, I'm going to. You trying to force me past
You're
it.
very testy tonight.
Yeah, I'm tired. And I have a dentist appointment in fucking 11 and a half hours.
That sucks.
Hence why we're doing 2 episodes in one day.
Yeah.
To cover us for a month in case I can't talk.
So she passes out at the graveyard.
Right.
She got a blood disease.
We're still in the beginning. Fuck.
We find out that she has a blood disease, and her dad's her doctor. And in that same sort of song and dance, literally, we also find out that her dad is the Repo Man.
Right. Yeah.
Which is a cool twist.
It is kind of cool. And see, the thing is like with the Repo Man, like I thought the outfit looks really cool. It's kind of, it's really SS-y.
Yeah.
Like Gestapo-esque. Except for the like the mask I thought was really cool until I saw that like you can see a little bit underneath.
Yeah.
And then the way it lights up, like you can see into it. Like it's basically like somebody took a fucking like a surgeon mask, like almost like a like the little shield. Sorry, that shield that they put on, but it's covered with all that
latex leather shit.
And it's like it'd be even cooler. I mean, you could see his eyes, but I don't want to like you see the side, like you see everything, like it's illuminated. Like like I get it, but like at the same time, I thought it would be creepier if you could only see his eyes and not like the bridge of his nose or the side of his face. Kind of.
I mean, I guess the point would be it adds to the theatricality of it. If it was a true full-on horror movie,
that makes it
would be much darker.
Right.
But
that would look really sick if it was red lighting inside. But that's just because I like red.
Sure. But then we get into Nathan, the dad's comic story, and we find out that he killed his wife trying to save her life from some rare disease, and he could only and she was pregnant with Shiloh at the time, and he could only save one of them, and he decided to save Shiloh, shave Shiloh, and that more or less is the crux of the entire movie, is that the wife died who Roti was in love with, and Marnie left Roti to be with Nathan and then died. But then it's also kind of suggested that maybe Roti was responsible for her death.
And if you ask me, he was responsible.
I think so.
Because they show the vial swap.
Yeah.
With the nurse-esque. Whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I think that basically like it was his way of being like, she left me for him.
If I can't have you, no one can.
Well, he definitely can't. Yeah, for sure. And so, yeah, he orchestrated that. She dies, and they break into song about it.
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
I don't know.
Which honestly, like, the song where we're not quite at that song. So I'm trying to think. So.
Where we're at right now is the creepy Largo siblings fighting over the company and song.
And see, this is what really bugged me the most, because Bill Moseley is one of my favorite. I love, like, Bill Moseley, like, he's amazing as Otis, which you will see when we get into the Corpse Rejects movies. Like, he is perfect as Otis. Like, you see how he looks, but in these movies when he has the long hair and it's blonde and it's creepy, and the second one he has the same long hair but he's got the big old fucking beard, like he looks nothing like what he looks like in this movie is how, like, if you go to a con and he's there is how he looks,
right? But
in like House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects, he's got the long blonde hair.
He's been zombified,
dude. He is frightening.
Yeah.
As that. And like in this movie he's not. In this movie he's obnoxious.
Yeah.
And I know it's his character, but his song too is fucking horrible.
See, that's my problem with him is he's in a movie that is over the top by design.
He's over the top.
He's so over, and he does the shirt ripping thing every 2 seconds, and it's just like.
But the funny thing about that is the song is his lyrics to his song are very Otis Driftwood as well, where he's like, I'll put a hole in you and fuck it.
Yeah.
That's very much him in those movies, and it's on character, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe brand, whatever. But yeah.
But it's over the top and cheesy to the point where it's not cool. It's more just irritating.
Like I toyed with putting him on my scorecard just because of that alone. But yeah, so they're going back and forth because they want Jinko. They're trying to, they're the spoiled kids that want daddy to leave. They're like, no, I'm going to get it. No, fuck you. You're not going to get it.
Yeah,
and
I'm the better one. No, I'm the better one. And at this point, they
I'm
don't
the smart
know.
one.
They don't know he's dying. They're just sort of
Fighting
waxing
over him
poetic.
because whatever, that's what rich kids with rich parents do. I guess, I don't know. No, I would assume not, but
You would hope not, but
it was
more
really
likely
weird
than
too because
so,
like
yeah.
they're going back and forth, and then Amber comes in, and then she's doing her part, but then she gets weird on the Ouija, like licks the side of his head.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and then Pavi's like, I want you two to fuck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you though? Like, that's your brother and your sister. You want them to, like, is that something going on behind the scenes? Like,
Well, and it's also something that's not really explored after that.
right. And it's never like that.
It's sort of touched on at the end, kind of, but not. Yeah, it's almost more for like a shock value.
Very shock because it's like, it was like she licks the side of his face, and then he's just like in song, like, I want you to fuck.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool.
Things for reasons.
Oh, yeah.
You said it. So then we get Rhodey's comic story,
Right.
and which we already kind of touched on, that he was in love with Marnie, Nathan's wife, and they don't at this point. I don't remember if they go into him poisoning her, but
Yeah, I don't know if they show it this. I don't think they show it this early. I think it pops up
that's
later. But then he shows up at the graveyard because Shiloh's in the tomb.
right, and he essentially because he calls her on their holophone things,
right,
and
and
it's
he's
like,
like,
hey,
meet
I
me-
have the antidote to the thing, your blood disease.
Meet me at the graveyard.
Yeah, and I'll abduct you and take you to this creepy ass carnival thing, and we'll hash some shit out. It's kind of strange because he has this animosity towards Marnie and Nathan, but he wants their kid.
I don't think he had an animosity towards Marnie. I mean,
I would say,
more so towards Nathan, but I think
yeah,
that, like,
but I feel like he
was
he
upset.
felt scorned that she
he
left him.
probably did,
and
but there's also
therefore-
more resentment. It's probably more like maybe resentment towards her leaving him, but
Yeah.
it was more angry, revengeful towards Nathan.
Yeah.
But
Fair
yeah,
enough.
so early on, this part where he's, on his way there and he's singing his song, like that was the coolest song to me up to that point.
Yeah.
And going into that, like, he's singing, I don't know what it was. I think it was almost like, I think it was the backup vocals in that part that really got it too. It was really that I wouldn't say Celtic, but it had this really haunty female voices that were singing in the background that I think kind of put it over the top. And I was like, okay, this song's not bad.
Well, and he has such an operatic.
He is very
tone to
operatic.
himself,
Wasn't
which
he
is
in
really
Romeo and
nice.
Juliet also?
I don't know.
Okay, well,
He could be. So Repo.
you're not going to touch on him, like, she does get abducted at that point. His badass female bodyguards kind of turn around, double kick the door open,
Yeah.
and then pull her out. Like,
That was pretty cool.
right.
Yeah, and then drag her into the car and takes her off to the surgery fair. And that's when
Surgery
well, that's kind of what it is. That's what I put in my notes. It's the Gene-Co surgery fair. It is. It's like a weird. It's like an expo, kind of, where they're showing off the latest, greatest surgeries you can have, but also it's like there's games and it's intense and shit.
Right. Also, Alleluia, the Devil's Carnival, which was the one that I brought up earlier. Mm-hmm. It is a horror musical. It is on Amazon Prime, and it did come out in 2016, so it's not anything to do with this movie.
Right,
But it
but
was
it's-
done by them, and it says that it's on there. And so maybe
Next
maybe
time
we'll
you have a
maybe
yearning
we'll do
for
it
a
too. Maybe
musical.
we'll do like a part 2 to this, and then we'll watch that because it's an hour and a half. I'll watch it. I had somebody. Oh, what I brought up earlier was when I put it on the Facebook page. my buddy Alex was talking about that movie, and I had no idea because I hadn't watched this one.
Yeah.
And so, like, I watched a trailer for it, and I'm like, okay. Well, wait. Go ahead and talk. What?
Okay.
Dude, okay, so there's the Devil's Carnival, which is okay. So that's the one that I was thinking of.
Okay.
Because the guy who played the Graverobber is the devil.
Oh.
But like, so this says that it's a horror carnival, 2012. It's an hour long. This one has Sean Patrick Flannery. This is. Yeah, okay, so this is the one I saw the trailer for, so I'm wondering what the fuck it was in 2016 then. Alleluia, The Devil's Carnival, I don't know what the difference is, but it doesn't matter. But I went down a rabbit hole and lost my train of thought.
You lost the rabbit.
I did, because I was going to look up and see if Paul Sorvino was in Romeo and Juliet. That's where I ended up. Like why I'm
going
looking
off on your rails.
Yeah.
So Repo has someone on his table and he's dissecting them in his house. By the way, like in his basement.
Right. Yeah, he takes his work home with him.
Yeah, like he's a little too committed to the job, I think. And then he like puppeteers the dead guy while singing.
Yeah,
which was super cool.
That was super cool. I mean, the voice that he did. And with it, I was like, okay. But yeah, it was...
I love the dad's voice. I think I said it earlier.
No, yeah, he has a great voice. I meant for when he did the puppet voice.
Yeah, he had this weird sadistic thing that he did.
Yeah.
And he does it later, too. And it's really cool. So then we have the surgery fair, and we're introduced properly to Blind Mags. And we get her story and find out that she was a friend of Marnie's, because everyone's connected to Marnie.
Right, and he was in Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
He's
been in a ton of shit. He's a big deal.
Yeah.
But this movie's like 10 degrees of Kevin Spacey, or Kevin Bacon is what I meant to say there. Like, everybody is connected and associated because of Marnie. And so Blind Mags was her best friend who was blind. Mm-hmm. And to get surgery to have robotic eyes, she is indebted to Gene Co. and is basically owned by Roti and can be used however, whenever to publicly, shill for them, basically. I can see you agree. Right. And then we get to the Zydrate song with Amber hooked on the surgery. Which is... It was hard for me to pick a favorite song, and obviously we'll get to that in the scorecard, but there were several songs, including this one, that were high contenders for best song.
Yeah, well, since you let the cat out of the bag about what the bonus, or what our... it's a musical. Honestly, like, watching this movie, the song that Roti sings at the when he gets her was the song that I liked the most, leading up to what is it? What do they call it? Zydrate? Anatomy, I think is the name of the song, or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
The Graverobber song is what I had called it, but that was my favorite song in the one. Like, it was so catchy, it got stuck in my head.
There's several. Like, I've been singing the songs in my head the last couple days after watching it, because they're so damn catchy, and that's why I ended up really liking this movie after I watched it. And then we find out very quickly that Nathan the Repo Man must repo Mag's eyes because she's wanting to leave, basically. She's sick of shilling for Repo, right, and is kind of wanting to, have a real life. And so Roti is going, fuck you, that noise, we're going to repo your eyes and kill you. And Nathan refuses, which is awesome. And then we get...
Well, yeah, because he's like, I can't do this.
Yeah. She was my wife's best friend, known her forever. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. I didn't realize we were that, like, like, we went straight... Yeah, we did the song. Amber, they basically, through that song, tell you that she's hooked on surgery, and it helps with the agony.
Of the surgery. I love that song.
Right. And then now for me to get up to speed, when you're talking about how Mags visits her at the house.
Yeah, we're not quite there, but yeah.
Well, it's what is it?
The only thing that you're skipping over is the meat locker massacre thing, when they're trying to make Nathan take
right,
Mag's
but you didn't
eyes.
have that note. You didn't have that in your notes, and I totally spaced it too. So yeah, you're right. Where he just fucking handles everybody. Mm-hmm. So not only is he a skilled surgeon, but he's also an assassin.
Yeah, which
well,
I mean,
he has to be. I get it.
yeah.
Like they show a lot of cool shit where like he'll rappel down stuff and
yeah. And they're talking about, remember who you are and what you do for a living, and this is your job, so do it. And he's like, go fuck yourself. I'm not
like,
gonna.
You do know who I am, right?
I'm Repo. And that's when Mags visits Shiloh at the house. Again, one of my favorite songs, and we learn that Mags is Shiloh's godmother.
Right.
I love the thing with her eyes.
That was like it could project and all that cool shit. Like,
and that haunting, it kind of reminded me of like a Blue Man Group song with that kind of haunting female voice. I don't know if you've listened to much Blue Man.
I haven't listened to any Blue Man Group.
You should. It's good stuff. I saw them live once. It was awesome.
Where, in Vegas?
Here.
They came here? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right, at the Capitol Theater, huh? Mm-hmm. Okay.
It was a long time ago. Yeah, I really love that song. I love all the songs. I'm going to say it again and again and again and again until we're over with. And now we're getting another good one, the 17 song.
Right.
So Nathan gets home, sees Mags, gets pissed, tells her to fuck off, even though he knows she's like marked for death.
Right.
But he still kicks her out of the house, and Shiloh gets pissed, obviously, because it's the first person she's been able to talk to that isn't that.
And she finds out it's her godmother, of all people.
And so they storm upstairs, and Nathan's trying to lock her in her room, Rapunzel style, and she goes into this 17 song, which is awesome. And you pointed out to me that was Joan Jett. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was, but I was just watching the movie, and so I was like, oh, I'll look at that later. And I never looked at it later.
Right. I think when I was watching it, I paused it just to kind of make sure that that's who it was.
Yeah. She's doing backup vocals and guitar shit while she's doing the super rockin' 17. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
I like that song too.
I didn't like it as much, but I mean, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, she can sing really well, as she does throughout the movie, obviously. But like, I think the Joan Jett playing the guitar kind of added a little bit to that, just because it's kind of like, it's fitting to have her play. Yeah,
it almost made it feel more authentic, and it seemed like, I mean, if you go into the whole Joan Jett and her music, especially in the early days, that was very much that rebelling against kind of stuff, and so it really fit the tone that they were going for in the scene, which was nice.
Right.
And then Amber gets some bad surgery, and Roti decides to leave everything to Shiloh, because he's officially sick of his nonsense kids fucking around.
He's like, fuck. Yeah, he talks about him being busts and shit. He's like, fuck these guys. These guys suck.
Like, I gave you all this stuff, and you're just a bunch of freaking stupid a-holes doing nonsense crap all the time. And the bad surgery that Amber gets was... I thought they could have made it look a little more graphic. Mm-hmm. Given how disturbing most of the rest of the movie is.
Right.
Like, it just looked like, oh, you could probably fix that with normal plastic surgery, like what we have in the real world now. Yeah. But fine. And that's more or less what Roti has her do. He's like, go see our surgeons. Well, they'll fix you up. Mm-hmm. Not quite as well as they should have. They should have used a little bit more Elmer's.
Yeah, he kind of gives into her. Yeah. He's like, just get out of here, please. And then she just skips out of the room like, you know.
I'm going to get more surgery.
Yeah, I got my way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then because of the fact that Nathan wouldn't
take out
he wouldn't take out blind Mags there, he gets attacked by fucking Geneco's SWAT team or some shit, like.
And he quickly dispatches all of them because he's like Superman badass.
Yeah, he's just like
Repo Batman.
That's awesome. Yeah, he moves. He's like a Damian Wayne.
Yeah,
just a little more old, a lot more old.
And then we finally get to the opera, which has essentially been teased the entire movie.
Right.
Of, hey, we're building up to this opera. Hey, it's opera night. Get ready for opera night. Big crazy shit's going to happen there.
Right.
And they aren't kidding.
No, when you put in your notes and you wrote everybody testify, I was like, what? And then as soon as the song started, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. We're testifying why Jinko's so awesome.
And it was, I like that song too. So we're at the opera. Everybody's at the opera tonight. And we see everybody getting ready like they're getting all primed for some business.
Business.
It's, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to say about it, but it's freaking awesome. Go ahead.
No, I just said,
And then we get to Amber's song, which goes horribly wrong, and Amber loses her face. Like, you can see it folding.
Which was kind of cool. Like, I must have missed something because, like, with the whole face, like, I know that they showed her putting one on at some point. Like, how many, like, that wasn't her original face. Like, how many faces has she had? Like,
Yeah, I mean, that could be it. I mean, there's, because it's like we said earlier, Roti sends her off to get her face fixed because she had the bad surgery. And so either this is a new face that they gave her, or in trying to fix what she had done to it, it screws up the face that she had been given. Like, who knows if the Paris Hilton face is her actual face?
Right.
I would assume not.
Yeah.
Based on what the story is, but who the hell knows? But it peels off on stage.
Yeah, just like blah.
Like silly putty, just
Then she just looks like something out of Hellraiser.
yeah. And she screams
Less
and
goopy,
cries and,
but still the same thing.
and runs off stage, which was awesome. And then Mags has her big finale moment.
You know, she's kind of hanging there. She does this real operatic, like she can sing.
Oh yeah.
And then, you know, she's kind of floating around there and then stands there for a little bit and then starts to lift back up. And then just like she's singing. And then like I didn't really see it coming, like because like with the attire, but she had the really long nails,
Like
on
knife fingers.
Well, I don't know, because
They're like
if they're like 3 inches long, 4 inches longish, they're just on the ends of her fingers. I just thought it was a stylized thing.
Yeah.
But then
you start hearing the words she's saying in the song.
I wasn't paying attention to the words as much.
You should listen to some of the words. And she's like, if, I don't need this anymore. And if I am going to die, I don't need these eyes anymore. And she just jabs her
she peels
pointy
them
finger
out.
things.
I did start to catch a little bit of that, but like...
It wasn't the whole song, but it was just sort of the quick lead up.
Yeah, okay. That's cool.
And then Roti's pissed.
Yeah.
And cuts the
cord that she's hanging from, and then she gets impaled on that fucking fence.
Yeah, that was fucking cool.
Yeah, that looks like it would suck.
And then she was like, then they're like, oh, don't worry, it's all part of the show. Someone just died, and it's fine, even though she's like your god here.
Yeah.
Let's just move on.
Everybody loved her.
Yeah, no big deal. We'll just move on to the rest of the show. And everything gets revealed on stage. Shiloh finds out that Nathan's the Repo Man. And then everybody gets on stage, and it's revealed that Nate poisoned Shiloh and was like keeping her sick, which I didn't fully get, even having watched this several times.
So it kind of sounds like something that happened in real life. There was a woman that was like poisoning.
They just did that show about her.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's kind of the same thing. Like, he wanted to keep her dependent on him, so, because she was all he had left. But like, now that she was 17, she's going to become an adult, go off, potentially live her own life. If he's got her dependent on him, like, he would have her forever instead of being alone. And so, like, I mean, I got that made sense.
Yeah.
It's fucked up, but it made sense.
And Rhodey wants Shiloh to kill Nathan and, like, have this whole freaking duke out on stage, and so that Shiloh can have Jinko when he dies.
Right.
And she won't do it because, it's her
dad.
dad.
Yeah.
Like,
kill your dad.
Like,
No.
Yeah. Look, I don't know how you thought this was going to go. I get that he lied and he's a dick, and I'm kind of pissed right now, but I'm not going to shoot him in the face. But then Rhodey shoots him in the face.
Yeah.
It's fine. He doesn't shoot him in the face, but he shoots him.
Still shoots him dead. No, he doesn't shoot him dead because there's a little bit of a didn't know I love you so much. Didn't know I love you so much.
That's the name of the song that they sing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They say it several times. Didn't know I love you so much. That's the song that's been stuck in my head for the past 2 days.
You just been waiting to get it out. But now you are free at last. We can finally get this out.
It was a good song. I love that song. I'm going to say it it's the last song really, so it's the last time you'll hear me say it. But
okay.
I get the free at last thing now because I put it in my notes. Because, so Nathan dies and Rhodey dies of his illness on stage. And so she's not really torn between these two father figures anymore, and she's able to just walk off stage and be her own person.
Right.
Yeah, flips off the stage, which is really nice.
Did she? Or were you just making fun of me because I did that?
No, I think she did that. I thought that was a reference to something that she did.
That was kind of like a Breakfast Club.
Oh.
Fucking. As he's walking off the football field. Ooh.
Whoa.
Sorry, I'm stretching, so that's why I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We get it.
Yeah. So Jinko's now up for the taking, and we find out in sort of like a slight post-credits, mid-credits scene that
there
Amber...
was? I didn't even get that far. I thought about looking to see if there was one, but that was before the post-credit craze, and so I didn't even think that.
Well, it's not post, it's like right after the credits start, and we find out that Jinko's up for the taking, Amber's taken over, and there was an auction. Amber put her face that fell off up for auction.
Right.
You saw that part?
No, I'm just saying right.
Okay. And Pavi won it and wears it. And
I'm gonna...
And Luigi killed the top 3 bidders. And so that...
Okay.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so it really is sequel bait. In a lot of ways, it sets up the idea that, they're shifting the company and things are changing. Now Amber's the new Roti, and, her brothers are sort of sniveling behind her.
God, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. It was actually a really cool way to cap off the movie. And as we cap off the show with the Gore scorecard.
Yeah.
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom. Boom, boom.
My best kill was the table repo. When he does the puppeting.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of killing, surprisingly, in this movie.
Right. My best kill, I thought, was Blind Meg getting cut down and then falling onto the fence. Because that was kind of... Because then they just kind of show her laying there, and it they did a pretty good job of making it look all fucking gored out. Like it was gross.
Yeah, I like yours better. I didn't really consider that a kill. Because she kind of did it to herself.
Well, yeah.
But then Roti cuts the wire. If
Roti wouldn't have cut the wire, she wouldn't have died.
True.
She just would have been Blind Mags.
Yeah. For real this time.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I'm going to steal yours. Because that's better. I like that scene a lot better. Most Wanted to Die. Really not that surprising. It's Luigi.
I put any of the Largos, really. Because, I mean...
They're all just horrible people.
Yeah, and that was kind of my cop-out to not... want Bill Moseley to die. But yeah, I guess
he was just so over the top. In an over the top movie, he just did these weird screamy things, and it was just, and he ripped his shirt open every chance he got. And
and it's really weird because it was like this really cheesy overacting thing, and it's like he's a really good actor, and it's like you're better than this dude. Yeah,
and it's like I get that it's supposed to be theatrical, but you're outperforming everyone else here,
right?
And you shouldn't be. Most Wanted to Live, Blind Mag.
Yeah, see, now I kind of thought about that too, because like I have Shiloh on mine, but I mean, you knew she wasn't gonna die.
Yeah,
but like
that's why I didn't pick her.
And if I were to not pick Shiloh, then it would be Blind Mag.
Grossest moment, Mag's poking out the eyes.
I put Human Puppet. It wasn't gross, but nothing in this movie was gross.
See, that was kind of my cop out. Was Mags poking out the eyes was probably the most gruesome.
It was
thing.
it was pretty gnarly, but like.
And
like,
eye things.
Like,
we just talked about
yeah,
this.
I know
don't like eye
you
things.
don't like the eye things, but like the puppet, like honestly, if you were to put these things in reality next to each other, a dude with his hand inside of somebody's chest, working them like a puppet, opposed to somebody gouging out their own eyes. I mean, it could be tough, but I mean,
yeah, I was gonna say that's a pretty close race, but
right.
I get the.
Yeah, I just put the human puppet because, I mean, it wasn't really gross, but, like, the concept. Yeah. Like, okay.
My dumbest moment was the moments of unnecessary singing. Because there were times where they could have just talked, particularly Roti.
He would talk, and then he would end it with a... Yeah. I'm like, okay.
Like, he was explaining something to Shiloh, and it was like, you're not ending or starting a song. You're just saying a sentence. Like, just say it. They have that in this world. Just say the thing.
Right.
Then do a song.
So my dumbest moment, I did the Amber face reveal. So it was the part where she does this, like, quick turn and then, like, this look over her shoulder. Like a... And I was like, oh, that's stupid.
That was such a Paris Hilton note.
Yeah, she's like, facing one way, and then she like looks back over her shoulder at the camera, but part of the shoulder covers her face, and I'm like, that was
fair enough.
That's what I put.
Last thing, it's our special thing for this card that somebody spoiled earlier.
Actually, yeah, somebody did.
Yeah. Best song.
Yeah.
Mine is "I'm Infected by Your Genetics." I've always liked that song.
So what I have written down is "Things You See in a Graveyard" by Roti Largo. But that was before I got through there, and I'm going to go with the Zydrate song, Graverobber.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's the longest. 17's up there in length, but this is one of the longer actual songy songs.
And those were the better ones, I felt. Like the ones where they actually got to make it a real song and not just a random paragraph in rhyme.
Well, so some of the, before we finish up, some of the things that I wrote down, because I didn't really take notes more as I did initial reactions. And so the things that I wrote after what I said was that Pavi reminded me of Robbie Rotten from Lazy Town. I told you that before we recorded.
Which I had no idea who that was either. All of you listeners. So look it up. He's right.
Yeah. The other thing I said was it has to be hard to read on clear plastic pages. Like when they're flipping through the documents. I wrote down the headshot from the Badass Bodyguard chicks, where they shot that dude in the head in the office. Roti Largo has a badass evil laugh. The Graverobber song gave me Rob Zombie vibes. Like
I could see that.
Like kind of like a Feel So Numb, but not as hard.
Right.
I wrote down Joan Jett. The Granny DJ at the opera.
Yeah.
And that just I'd rather be blind. But yeah, overall, I know I shit on you a lot this week about this movie leading into it. It really wasn't that bad.
And we've discovered that you actually do like musicals. You just don't want to admit it.
Oh, it's not no, because honestly, like if you try to make me watch another musical, I'm gonna fight it because it's not something I enjoy. I'm open-minded enough to admit when I don't mind something, but it's not something that's gonna change. It's like, guess who's gonna go home and watch a musical? Not me.
Then have some surgery.
Surgery. I hate you. Well, anyways, thank you guys for hanging out with us.
What's your next pick, Holmes?
Oh shit! I don't. Fuck. We're so far ahead.
I almost asked you what your next one was, and I think I know what it's supposed to be. If you want me to text it to you to not spoil the reveal.
No, I was gonna look up the thing. I was gonna just look up our calendar because the next one was actually the Justin pick, right?
Well, the next one. This is the Justin pick.
No, I'm talking about the McNair pick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It sucks that we know so many people with the same name. Yes.
So the next one is the McNair pick. So...
Which technically he requested 2.
Well, no, he had requested 1. He wanted to do Poltergeist, but he's like, I know you guys are going to get to Poltergeist at some time.
Yeah.
He's like, I really want you guys to watch this movie called Troll Hunter. Troll Hunter on Netflix. Now, looking it up, it doesn't seem to be horror, but it does seem to be gory from what I've heard. So this isn't your traditional horror film, but we will give it a shot because it is a listener suggestion.
Yeah.
And so, yes, our next movie will be Troll Hunter.
Available on Netflix if you want to watch it before the show.
Yeah, it is. And so, yeah.
That's it.
Okay, that's it. Well, I know, I totally got ahead of myself. I'm like, fuck, my wife's texted me. She's like, pick up the kid. And I'm like,
just breathe. We're almost done.
We're good,
Just look
man.
at the flowers.
No. Well, anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. I know this is a shorter episode, but there really wasn't a lot to this movie to really deep dive in.
It's very surface level while still being deep and interesting, and it's so much of it is filled up by songs of them explaining what's going on that it's hard to go too deep. But I definitely recommend, if you have a way to watch it, to go watch it.
Yeah, I would throw a recommend on it, like especially if you're into that kind of thing. Even just to kind of watch it visually, there's a lot of cool things about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so catch us again in 2 weeks when we talk about Mindhunter. I want to talk about Mindhunter, but I haven't started season 2 yet.
Troll Hunter?
Troll Hunter. I'm so out of it. Yeah, catch us again in 2 weeks when we talk about Troll Hunter. Again, you can reach us on Facebook. That's where we hang out. Wow, I'm really fucking thrown through a loop right now. Yeah, you can find us on Facebook at Pod and Gore Podcast. We do a lot of interaction there. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram. Our Instagram is really lacking, but there's not a lot going on there. At Gore_pod. If you don't do social medias and you still want to reach out to us, you can reach us at podandgore@gmail.com. I got it linked to my phone, so I get them right away.
Yeah.
We want the interaction, so if you reach out to us, we will react quickly.
And if there's something you want us to watch, Justin has one for us that we're going to do now. We did Scanners a while back. That was a recommendation. So if there's something that you want us to see and talk about, who knows when we'll get to it. And if it's something we haven't heard of, we won't get to it unless you tell us. Exactly.
And, just let us know what you think, what you want, what you need.
That's what we're here for.
Right. Shout out to Water Bottle on YouTube for being a very frequent viewer, liker, commenter. Appreciate you. We don't really do a whole lot on YouTube as of right now. We basically just convert the files to audio so you can listen to them if you don't do podcasts, or you don't have the ability to listen to them, like my buddy Kiro in Colombia. And so, yeah.
All right. Well, that is all. See you in 2 weeks.
That you will.
Bye.
Bye.
Surgery.
Don't.